Hi there, it's Tracy here from the Papercraft Studio. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little desk calendar, and it's got a little pen holder, a little post-it note holder, and it stands up like that. So just to show you from the side, it's got a little kind of easel back to it. So let me go ahead and show you the supplies you need. Very minimal. So you need a piece of basic black cardstock, and that measures 11 3/4 by 3.5. If you're doing this in America, I know your card sizes are different, so you can just adjust the first two score lines accordingly. I'll tell you when we get to that part. This piece here, also basic black, measures 8 1/4 inches by 5.5 inches. You need a smaller strip of basic black, which measures 3/4 by 4 1/4. This piece of basic black is to go behind the calendar, and this measures 3 1/8 by 2 1/16. I've made that really quite accurate because of the size of the calendars I'm using. So I've just got these calendars from Amazon. So I just measured up because I wanted an even border all the way around. So we've got a calendar here, and then one more piece of basic black, a tiny piece. This measures 1 5/8 by 1 3/8. You need some designer series paper. This is one of the Sale-a-bration offers, and it comes with a gorgeous stamp set. Let me just pull that out for you. So it's a £90 spend for this one. Often Sale-a-bration are 45, but they do throw in some £90 spends. So you get this stamp set, and also just grab some papers. These really pretty designer series papers. So this is another one of my favorites. You've got some pale papaya in there, so really pretty. And like I say, you get the cardstock too. Sorry, the stamp set too. So very cute. Okay, so I've just dropped my piece now of ESP. Okay, so you need 2 pieces of designer series paper. I cut them as one. It's not really showing that I did it, but I did. So I cut a piece of designer series paper at 5 by 3.5 inches, and then just cut it in half on the 5-inch side. So these are each now 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And then finally you need a tiny piece of basic white cardstock, and that measures, I don't know if I've written that down, 1.5 inches by 1 1/4 inches. Okay, so let's start on this back piece here. Okay, we've got 2 of those. So this is going to be the stand, and we're going to do some scoring. Oh, I'm getting my words mixed up, so I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. Okay, so let's just see if I'm in shot. Yeah. So on the long side, you're going to score this at 4 3/4 inches, at 9 1/2 inches, 10 1/4, and 11. Now, like I said, if you're in America, you'll need to shorten these 2 pieces a little. So each of these measure 3/4 of an inch here. So you've got 3 3/4 of an inch sections. So then just divide whatever cardstock you have left in between those and do this in halfway. Okay, so let's do all the scoring actually while I've got the scoreboard out. So on this piece now, on the long side, you're going to score it at 2 3/4 and at 3 1/4. Turn it round, and most people will score, if they're doing the same on either side, at this end, but I find it too fiddly, so I'm coming over this side, and I'm going to score at 4 5/8 and at 5 1/8. I just find it too hard to be squished up against this side, so turn it round and you're going to do the same. So 4 5/8 and 5 1/8. So it's the same as doing 3/8 and 7/8 over that side. Okay, any more scoring? I think that's it. So let's pop this away. I always like to do a calendar in January, and I try and vary it each year. So this is kind of like a hybrid of various ones I've done before or that I've seen. The little pen holder came from another demonstrator, and I'm sorry I can't remember her name right now. So right, let's pop that to one side. So we're going to fold on all of these score lines and just run over with your bone folder. So this first one you're folding basically in half. The next one you're folding in the same direction. And then after that you're folding away from it and then back on yourself again. So you're making that little concertina, that little kind of M mountain fold, mountain valley mountain at the end. And then pop some tape or glue, still have this kind of concertinaed up, and you're going to put some tape or glue on this end. I'm just going to put a couple of strips just because they do fit. And then backing off, so keep it all folded up for now. Take the backing off, oops, got a bit stuck. And then with it folded up, just fold this end over and it will just line up like that. So there you have your little easel stand that's going to be the back. And what I've done, I'll show you in a, well, I'll show you now actually, but I've made it slightly narrower than the pocket that goes on the front, and not as tall, because when you come to cut this next piece, if you're not quite accurate, sometimes that can show from behind. So it lines up at the bottom, but not, there's a small border on the other three sides. So I'll show you when we get to that bit. So on this piece here, this is going to be the pocket. So fold on all the score lines again. There's two on each side, obviously. The one on the outer edge is always going to be more difficult to fold, but we're going to be cutting most of it off, so don't worry too much if it creases a little bit on the way. And then the two score lines here. Okay, so what we need to do now, with the bigger section at the top, we want to get rid of these top two sections here. So we're going to not go any further down than this first fold, so we're getting rid of those two and those two. So let's go ahead and cut those. You can take much more time doing this, but I'll do it quickly for the video, so it's not going to be probably the neatest here. Okay, and then come along on that first score line and take that out, so you've still got these two sections here and these two here. So do the same on the other side, cut across that first score line, and then I'm going to do it this way actually, cut down here. I can't believe we're racing towards the end of January. I'm sure I say this in every class, or every video that I do when I'm doing my class projects, but it just goes so quickly, the time, doesn't it? You'll have this much neater here. It's bothering me a bit, but that's fine for the video. Okay, so next you're going to come to the next score line down and cut to the second score line. So that's created a tab. And then cut off this outer square. So you end up with that. And then you're going to come in and just do a little flower pot from the side. So we're just cutting out a little slither from each side of this tab here. The same on the other side, so you're going to cut to the second score line, take off this outside one, and then notch in either side here to create your little flower pot. So that's all the cutting done. Okay, so it's you need to get this bit, the tape or glue on the correct size here. So you're going to flip it over. So this is the side where it kind of bunches up. And you want to put some adhesive on these two tabs on this side. Now, if you're using glue, you probably want to stick this piece first, or you will want to. And what's going to happen is this fold here is going to meet this straight edge here. So that's going to fold inside to create that little corner piece here. There we go. So that fold to that straight edge. If you're using tape, I suggest putting this on first before you build it. So I've now flipped it over, so we're now on the side where it kind of bunches up like a little tortoise on its back. And on the outside edge here, you're going to put your adhesive. So you'll be doing this, if you're using glue, you'll be doing this after you've stuck the other two bits on. Just run your finger over those. Okay, so I'm going to leave the tape on for now. Feel free if you want to take it off, but you might want to just watch what I'm doing first, and then go ahead and do yours. So I'm taking the two little backings off on the tabs. I'm just going to line up those edges, like I say, and just create that corner fold. So folded edge here, straight edge here, and just come round so it creates almost like a little chair, I guess. And then I've got a little trick or a tip, I suppose, for you. I'm just going to grab an ink pad because I found it easier if you put it on this side, put an ink pad, oh sorry, no, it's going to be this side. So pop an ink pad in there, and these are coming around the back, so it just gives you, it's the right size just to give you something to really push down against. You can do it without, but it's just easier. So have it this way up and then have that in. So we're going to fold back these a little bit and just take the backings off. A little bit fiddly, but doable. Okay, so have it that way up. Pop your ink pad, no, sorry, it looks like it should be that way, but have it this way up. Pull down this longer piece, and then on each side just fold over, and it just gives you that solid block to press down on. So these are obviously showing on the outside, but they're going to be covered up now with the back here. So you can leave this in if you want to give yourself a bit of a base. And what you're going to do is attach, so line up the bottom here. I don't know if you can see that slight gap either side and a gap at the top. So but you want it buttered up against the bottom. So pop some glue on the back of this piece, the kind of easel piece, because that's the smaller one. Line up the bottom, roughly in the middle either side. Doesn't have to be perfect because nobody's going to look at the back. And then, like I said, I've still got that ink pad in there so I can press down. It doesn't go all the way to the top, but so just be a bit careful up here. But that gives you a nice solid piece to press down on. So there we go. That's how it's going to stand up. That's it from the side. So let's go ahead and decorate. I'm going to get my 2 pieces of designer series paper. Now you'll see on the bottom here, you don't see a lot of it. So decide which one you like the look of that you're going to see up in this corner more. It might be the one with more of a pattern on it. So I'm going to go with those. Okay, so glue on the back of both of these. And the one that's at the top, well, they're both the same size, but the one at the top goes slightly further into the pocket, just so it's not, so you don't see that gap. But it's quite a thrifty way to use the paper without filling the whole inside. I'm just going to bring that block back. That clashes quite badly, doesn't it? Here we go. There we go. And then this one, like I say, it's just going to, it's going to be a border still, but it's going to, if you line up these edges to have an even border, you'll see how far it needs to go down inside. Without getting glue all over me. Okay, so I'm going to hold it in there and just slide it until I've got it in place. It's the beauty of using our liquid glue. Get a couple of seconds to slide around. Okay, so next we're going to layer up the calendar. So just glue on the back of here, and you know, just measure the calendars that you order and make this slightly bigger just so you get that small border. I've kind of left about 1/8 of an inch all the way round, so that's what you're looking for there, roughly. It might be slightly under. So get that in the middle, and then you can go ahead and stick that on. And again, I just stuck it down with glue. Okay, let's get this in the middle, about there. Again, you can bring that ink pad back in if you want, just to, that is quite in the middle, that's fine, just to press that down. Okay, so then the sentiment I use, and I love this this stamp set. This is the one that, the very first thing in the catalogue that I thought I have to get this. It's called Happy and Heartfelt, and it's got some really good sentiments on it. It's got a thank you, it's got, we have to celebrate this, congratulations, I love you. But I thought all day your way, it's a calendar, so we're talking about days. So I thought that was apt for this project. So let's go ahead and oh actually before I stamp, I've just added a little kind of swash of colour using our brushes behind here. So I've used Fresh Freesia because that's the colour that I've used in the paper here. So let's go ahead, tap lightly, and then just have a little practice here, or actually just to see that you haven't got too much ink on, I tend to take a little bit off before going on to this piece here, and just really lightly build up the colour. I don't like it too heavy to start with, so I'd rather just go a bit more gently and build it up as we go. And I'm not covering particularly the whole base, I just wanted to have a little dash of colour on there. And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment in black Memento ink. Just see, I've got it inked up. Okay, I'm going to have to stand up to see where I'm going on this. About there, I think. Perfect. Okay. So then you're going to, actually you might have to let that dry for a couple of seconds, or be careful when you're touching it, but you're going to layer that onto this one. So flip it over, some Tombow on the back. You could pop a dimensional one if you prefer. I've actually put dimensionals underneath the black layer here. So slide it into place. Like I say, flip it over, and if you're putting it at a bit of an angle like I have here, actually before we stick that on, I'm going to show you how to use it, how to make this pen holder. I nearly forgot this bit. So it's really hard to see inside, but there's a little stopper here that the pen just fits in to stop it from, you know, falling over too much that way. And the 3x3 post-it notes fit perfectly in here, so that's why I designed it at this for these measurements. So actually I forgot to score this one, so let me just bring my scoreboard back in. So on this very small piece here, on the 4 1/4 inch side, you're going to score it at 3 1/4 and at 3 3/4. So just a couple of small score lines at the end, and that's enough. That's big enough size for kind of like a big pen like this, or friction pens, things like that. So on this first fold, you're going to fold it in, just line it up so it goes straight, and then just press it down into position. And then this one's going to come back on itself. Okay, so again, you've got that little kind of opposing fold there. And what's going to happen is it's going to slide into your box. So this is how your box is stood, going to slide in like this. So it's going to go, this long piece is going to stick to the back, and this piece here is going to stick to the front, and that creates that little fold there. So it's a little bit fiddly, and what I would suggest to do is put tape on the front and glue on the back. So with this tape, I'm actually going to take this piece off now, but keep it, you know, from sticking too quickly to the top. And then without letting that stick to the table, on the back here, just along this bigger section, I'm going to put some glue along here, not too much because I'm going to have to slide it down a little bit. So there's one section here that doesn't have any adhesive on at all. Okay, so glue on the back, and as it's folded up like this, you want your tape on the top. So fold it all together, like I said, a little bit fiddly, and you're going to slide this in pretty much level with where the top of the box is. Okay, so I've got the glue piece in place. This is still the piece with the tape on is still springing up at the moment, so I've stuck down the glued piece. You can slide it down further if you want, and then it might be an idea to put your pen in roughly to see where you're going at the end here, but basically you're lining up with this final edge here, so just try and stick it. If your finger's too big to, you know, get in, mine's gone over a little bit there, but it won't matter. There we go. So you're basically looking for a straight kind of cube. I don't know if my posters will still fit in because I've gone a little, oh they do, gone a little bit wonky. So don't worry if you go off a little bit, but basically then you've got your sections here for your stationery to go in. So finally, let's go ahead and attach this one. So dimensionals, like I say, if you're sticking at an angle, make sure you only pop dimensionals where they're not going to show on the back. Not that anyone really would be looking, but just in case. So I'm going to, whoops, pop mine about here. Take the backings off. And then just angle it up there. Pop your stationery in. And there you have it, my little desk calendar and post-it note holder. I hope you enjoyed making that. Take care. See you soon. Bye.